I believe that if we just choose one word every year and we really incorporate that into our life, we can add on year after year. Like, I'll keep my self-discipline, I'll keep my joy, but this year, now I can set a new word of the year, the thing that I feel I am feeling called to want more of into my life, then we can just keep on adding on.
Hi, my name is Pernilla, and this is my Challenge Your Norm podcast. I'm absolutely obsessed with anything related to personal development. And well, to grow, we got to challenge our norm. And so on this podcast, we chat about life and how we can challenge our normal way of living it to make it greater than we could have ever imagined. Just one little belief, habit, bold move, and challenge at a time.
Hello, my beautiful friend, and welcome back to another episode here on my Challenge Your Norm podcast, where today I want to give you the simplest way to set yourself up for success for this coming year, regardless of whether you're listening to this on the Monday that it's coming out right after New Year's or in the middle of the year, because I don't believe that it's ever too late to set an intention for the year, for the month, for the week, for the day. I am someone who loves doing that as frequently as possible. But for the past couple of years, I have set myself a word of the year. And looking back, I can now see that me setting the intention for the word that I want to bring into my life for that year has really set me up for success for that to happen. In 2022, I had a pretty challenging year. It was one of the most challenging years that I had had in a while, because I was going through an extreme identity shift and kind of navigating a lot of new changes that were going on in my life. So by the end of the year of 2022, I was on a retreat in Bali, and I decided that for that coming year, I wanted self-discipline to be the word of the year. I was at a retreat in Bali and really reflecting on my past year. And because I had been going through a bit of a challenging time, I had let go of some of the things, the habits, the consistent daily routines and disciplined habits that I previously had found bring me so much confidence and consistency in showing up for myself in the way that I knew was going to make me feel at my best. And so that year of 2023, I wanted my word of the year to be self-discipline. And what that led me to was every day reminding myself to show up in the way that would make me feel at my absolute best long term. And in order for me to develop this level of self-discipline, or rather bring that level of self-discipline back into my life, was I needed to be very clear on what I wanted, what my goal was, what the daily habits and routines I wanted to be a part of my life in order for me to know how to show up in this self-disciplined way. And what that looked like for me was being very consistent with my healthy nutrition, not going into any habits that weren't making me feel good. If I was feeling lonely, for example, binge eating or whatever other habits that wouldn't make my body feel very good. I also wanted to stay very disciplined within progressive overload and showing up at the gym and doing the uncomfortable thing. I believe the year prior, I had showed up for the gym. I'd been consistently moving, but I had kind of let myself go for the easier options. And previously, I'd gone to the gym every single day and pushed myself hardcore. So it was just a season of my life where I kind of took a step back and more so was consistent with it, but not really pushing my limits. And so I wanted to bring that back into my life. And when I'm consistent with my diet and with my exercise routine, it makes me feel more confident within, because I show up and prove to myself that I'm capable of doing challenging things. And what that would lead to was also being disciplined in showing up for social events. I still have this tendency that I'm so passionate about what I do with my work that I can neglect other, let's say, more relaxing things in my life, whether that being showing up for social events or making sure to be more social in my life. And the self-discipline word for me also meant every single week having a couple of things that I would make sure to do to keep my social life alive as well. This self-discipline word also meant that I would not procrastinate the things that I potentially had a tendency to procrastinate, but actually get that thing that I was procrastinating done first thing in the morning so that I knew it was done. And again, that compound effects into me feeling more confident within myself because I started off the day doing this more challenging thing, and that would just bring so much more energy and boldness into the rest of my day, which would lead to me taking more bolder actions and going for things that I wouldn't have gone for if I hadn't continuously reconnected with my strength, with my inner power, with how much in control with my life that I am. So this word of the year that I set for myself, self-discipline, ended up really setting that year of my life up for so much magical moments. And yeah, just so many beautiful things came as a result of that. And the following year, I decided that my word of the year was going to be joy, because I had spent the past many years of my life just working really hard, loving what I do, but sometimes neglecting my joy because I was so passionate and eager to get all of these things done. So I just wanted joy to be the word of the year last year. And I must say, I felt more joy last year than I have for potentially ever, but definitely for a very long time. Last year also came with a lot of challenges and a lot of learning lessons and so much other things. But I also believe that for us to experience the absolute most amount of joy, we have to know what the opposite of that is, right? Like if our spectrum is wide, if we've experienced enormous pain, we will also be able to experience joy on a whole other level because we've experienced the opposite. It's the same of for there to be light, there has to also be darkness, because otherwise, I don't know how the saying goes, but there's something with everything in life, there's opposites. And last year, having set the intention that I wanted to experience joy, I also believe just like with the self-discipline, I throughout my year chose differently because I had set the intention for joy to be the word of the year. I believe that if we just choose one word every year and we really incorporate that into our life, we can add on year after year. Like I'll keep my self-discipline, I'll keep my joy, but this year, now I can set a new word of the year, the thing that I feel I am feeling called to want more of into my life. Then we can just keep on adding on. And I know that you're listening to my Challenge Your Norm podcast because you're someone who wants to challenge your norm to always better your life, better yourself, improve and get better. So the whole point of this episode is to ask you if you have chosen a word of the year yet. Because if you haven't, maybe ask yourself what you would really like to manifest, incorporate more of into your life here and now. My word of the year, I've been battling actually between two, and all years I've actually picked three, but then like one main one, which, maybe you feel called to pick three as well. For me, it's like there's one main one and then there's two that I kind of want to incorporate as well. But the two that are calling to me the most are freedom and deep connection. My main one I've chosen to be freedom because I believe freedom for me, deep connection is a part of that. For me to feel the most free, I am surrounded by humans who I love and I can be free with, free in love, free in connection, free when it comes to my finances, free when it comes to being able to wake up every morning and create whatever it is that I feel called to create. I have felt more free in my work recently than I had for a very long time because I have let go of the things that no longer make me feel free, that no longer serve me, or at least don't serve me in this very moment. So freedom is my word of the year. And having that in the back of my mind, I know it's going to make me make choices in a different way than if I had not chosen that word to be in the back of my mind. And something I recommend is if you figure out what your word of the year is going to be, is that you write it on a piece of paper and place it somewhere that you get to see it every day, just so that you're reminded of what it is that you actually want to call in for this year. Sometimes when we try something new, we won't know the power of it until we've actually gone through it. So just give it a try. If you have never created a word of the year, just give it a try. Maybe today take some time to sit with yourself, or maybe you're listening to this while you're driving or going on a walk, and ask yourself, if I had to bring one thing, or maybe three 3 things. I do sometimes think less is more though, because if we have just one thing, it's so much easier for us to just keep that in the back of our mind constantly. If we have too many things, it can be hard to really incorporate and embody that one thing, or embody all of those things, where if we just have one thing, then it's easier to really keep that with us for our entire year. But ask yourself today, if I had to incorporate one thing into my life this year, what would that one thing be that would impact me in the best way possible? And if you don't know what that could be, sometimes it could be powerful to ask us the opposite question. I'm about to jump on my first January Transformation Challenge call here in an hour. And one of the things that I also like to focus on, that we're going to go over today, is what is the thing that you want to let go of? Because oftentimes there is just one bad habit or one negative thought or one belief that is keeping us stuck. And so if you don't know what your word of the year could be, maybe you have been dealing with a ton of binge eating, and that really is the thing that's holding you back the most to make all of these changes in your life. And if you were to just take control of that one thing, it would impact all these other areas of your life. Or maybe you have been bringing your phone with you into the bedroom. And what that has done is not only make you scroll every single night for hours, but it's also making you go to bed too late, which is making you feel sleep deprived when your alarm goes off in the morning, which is making you not want to go work out, which is making you make bad nutritional choices, or at least choices that aren't in alignment with what you deep down want. It's making you show up for your family or your friends or your partner in a way that you wish you weren't because you are sleep deprived. Maybe the one change you need to make is commit to no longer bringing your phone with you into the bedroom. Charge it in the kitchen every night where it's far away from you, and read every night. I have a commitment with myself this year that I'm going to read every single night before I go to bed. And I bring my phone to the kitchen, like I let it charge in the kitchen, because I want to be the type of person that reads. I want to be the type of person that's constantly growing and learning. And I know that if I read, it will help me do that. And I also know that if I have my phone with me in the bedroom, I'll constantly want to go towards that rather than actually do my reading. So that's a commitment I've made to myself. Maybe the one thing that you want to let go of is skipping the workout, and you need to make the commitment that every time when it says for you to work out on your workout schedule, you freaking do it. Maybe your word of the year needs to be consistency. If it was a phone in the bedroom thing, maybe your word of the year is sleep. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be any of the type of words that I've chosen, but it just has to be something that is going to have a positive impact for you in your life. You just have to get clear with yourself what you want your word of the year to be. If you feel called to do this, you don't have to do it just because I do it, but it could be a powerful little thing, fun thing to do. And if you haven't listened to my other goal setting podcast episodes that I've recently uploaded, I think if you're just getting to setting some goals right now, I would love for you to go through the past 3 episodes that I put up here, because I do guide you towards how you can set goals and get massive clarity on this next year. And the most recent one has everything to do with how to get in the best shape of your life. And the 2 previous ones is more so about reflecting on what works and what doesn't work for your life, and then setting very, very clear and specific goals and making sure to stay consistent in actually achieving them. That was all I had for today. I have some incredible things coming up for this podcast, some incredible guests and ideas for episodes I want to create, as well as a new studio that I'm dreaming of building in a new home that I may be moving to soon. So a lot of good things are coming up. So I hope you want to subscribe to this episode so that we can keep hanging out, keep challenging our norm and growing together this year. I'm so grateful for you being here and listening. And if you found it useful, maybe share it with a friend or write a review on whatever platform that you're listening to this on. Just thank you for being here. And I hope that this word of the year that you choose is going to impact you in the most miraculous, beautiful of ways. And also, you can still join my January challenge if you would like. You'll have lifetime access once you sign up. And if you're listening to this at a later point, I have challenges coming up every single month of this year. So I would love to see you in there. And remember that in order for you to grow, you have to challenge your norm. Bye.